Hey guys, Brad Gilmore here. Want to give a big shout out to our title sponsor, Walker Texas Lawyer. If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident, whether that be a car, truck, motorcycle accident, or some kind of other issue, hit up Walker Texas Lawyer at 713-552-1117 or walkertexaslawyer.com.
Oh, Brad, what have you done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Matthew McConaughey.
Brad Gilmore.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Jessica Alba and Lizzie Mathis. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Kevin Costner joins us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Chris Tucker is in the building. Chris Tucker, good morning to you.
Hey, Brad, and good morning to you. How are you?
George Lopez joins us right now. George, how are you doing, sir?
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, joins us right now. Brian, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. What lovely to talk. You me funny lad.
Megan Trainor.
Thank you so much, Brad. You're awesome.
Chloe Bailey joins us. I appreciate the time.
Appreciate you.
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat.
Brad Gilmore! Hey guys, Brad Gilmore here. Before I start the interviews today, I just want to let you know that these are a little bit different, and there's a reason why. I'm going to explain. So I had prepared for these two interviews on the same day. It was Picture This and the Looney Tunes movie and The Day the Earth Blew Up, and I had written all my questions. Was ready to go, and then I got the flu or a cold or something that left me with no voice and incapacitated. And so I had to, instead of canceling the junkets, I went ahead and I sent in my questions to be read to the interviewees. But these are questions that I wrote and was ready to ask, but then was not able to deliver. So instead of trying to splice it and fool you all and make it seem like I actually was interacting with them live, these are questions that I wrote that the junkets, both of them, were so thankfully willing to read out. So a big shout out to Jill and Nick. But I'm going to go ahead and play you those interviews. So take a listen to The Collection.
All right, for both of you, what do you hope audiences will love the most about The Day the Earth Blew Up?
I hope it makes them laugh. I hope it brings a lot of laughs and joy, and sort of makes them forget about the daily stuff, and remember how great the Looney Tunes characters are, Daffy and Porky.
Yeah, you see, just exactly what Pete said. We're still funny. I know we're 90 years old. I mean, some of us are younger. Hey, I'm still in the room. How dare you, Daffy?
Yeah, these are characters that I grew up watching as a kid, and I have an 8-year-old. Well, actually, sorry, today he's 9. I have a 9-year-old who enjoys these characters, I think, as much as I did growing up. I also like that when we watch, he knows the difference between the ones that we work on. But I like when he watches the ones from the 40s. He goes, "Hey, Dad, is this retro, like old, like from the 80s?" I like how he thinks the 80s is the oldest thing you could get. And I'm like, yeesh. It's like, oh boy, he's gonna learn the hard way in school that there were things that are older than the 80s. But yeah, I like getting to know that we get to contribute to the legacy of these characters in long form, like a feature film. And you can only get that kind of quality that they're so known for in something like this, a movie like this.
Eric, Looney Tunes characters have such a rich legacy. How do you balance staying true to the original voices while bringing something fresh for modern audiences?
Well, the voices of these characters, again, were originally performed by voice characterizations by Mel Blanc. He was one of the first credited voiceover artists in animation history. I don't tamper with the Colonel's 11 secret herbs and spices when it comes to the voices. What changes is the material, the written material, because it's something that not even Mel Blanc has read. And when you modernize characters like this, usually the modernization is the environment and where they are. Maybe like they might have an iPhone in their hands, but it's never the focus of what makes the characters the characters. In all my experiences working with filmmakers, whether it is a 30-second shoe commercial or a sequel to a basketball player hybrid movie or a pure form cartoon movie like this, each and every director that I've worked with, you can tell that they're big fans of these characters, and they know what to do and what not to do when it comes to keeping the integrity of these characters intact.
I've heard great voice actors or impressionists have a word or phrase they use to get into the voice. Did you have a certain phrase you'd like to say for Daffy or Porky?
Oh, for Daffy, I always say the word chicken. I don't know why. Chicken. Every time I say chicken, it just gets me into Daffy mode. I don't know why. Porky, it's funny. I guess it's really just whenever I see whatever I have to say, and then you kind of incorporate how much or how little to use the stutter. I know when I was working with Pete and Alex during our sessions, we would do a pass as written, and then a pass like where they'd allow me to explore like how much of the stutter, and then a pass where I wouldn't stutter at all. Maybe there's.
I didn't know there was such thing as too much stuttering.
But in this case, I like how like I just naturally stuttered now. It's almost like Porky would only ever stutter when he was either super flustered with Daffy or if he was in the vicinity of Petunia, because I think he has a little crush on Petunia. So, it was not necessarily something that was like there all the time, and I think that's a kind of a refreshing take with Porky.
He, what inspired the story of the day it flew up, and how did you approach making it feel both nostalgic and new?
I'm a big fan of old film, but also old sci-fi movies, B movies, Ed Wood movies, and all the classic sci-fi from the 50s. And I thought it would be fun to sort of throw the Looney Tunes, or Porky Daffy particularly, into that sort of world or universe, or sort of see what would come up. I pitched the film as a 2D or a Looney Tunes Ed Wood movie. Thought it'd be kind of an interesting thing to have a genre to play in, and Porky and Daffy played in genres before. In the old shorts, they played their many roles as characters, and thought they were the perfect pairing because they don't always want to kill each other. They're some of the only Looney Tunes. And I'm sorry, what was the second part of the question?
How did you approach making it feel both nostalgic and new?
Oh yeah, I didn't really think that much about that. I tried not to. I wasn't calculated about it. I felt like I had a professor or a speaker at Cal Arts, where I went to college, say once that don't concern yourself so much about being original. Just be yourself and put yourself into your work, and your personality and your originality will come through no matter what. You can't help it, because as humans, I think we have to that's how we relate to the world and figure things out. So I just said, I'm not going to make a rule where we have this many contemporary jokes or this many sort of old classic jokes or gags. I just want to sort of feel our way through it. And if it's a good joke, regardless if it's about boba, or if it's about ride sharing or whatever, if it's funny, it's funny. And if it lasts, if it keeps making us laugh as we watch this, as you wake anything, you watch it many, many, many times. If it holds up, then it's worth it.
They had boba in the 40s, right? I saw a picture of Mel Blanc drinking boba in the booth. And maybe it was boba, but it was probably Jack Daniels or Scotch.
I hope.
At 11 a.m.
What was the biggest technical or creative challenge you and the team faced during production?
Was to make sure the quality of the film not only felt cinematic, but also was high enough to meet what I think is some of the highest, greatest animation ever made by man, was the Looney Tunes. So trying to keep production standards up and quality up, and animation and quality up for the legacy of Looney Tunes, that people won't go, well, this just looks like a cheap ripoff or something. I wanted it to really feel authentic Looney Tunes.
And that's all, folks.
Thank you.